world was cold, the leads long dead. Winter's chill had settled in the bone. Another name unsaid, a silent statue, blind and made of stone. But thawing ground gives way to sleeping roots. A whispered tip, a forgotten clue, dusting off the long forgotten suits, a single thread to pull the story through. The spring equinox brings the scales to bear. Justice marches, truth takes to the air. From frozen silence, a triumphant sound. The verdict's written on waking ground. The witness stand, a garden newly tilled. Each memory a seed now forced to grow. The web of lies so carefully distilled begins to fray, the hidden colors show. The spring equinox brings the scales to bear. Justice marches, truth takes to the air. From frozen silence, a triumphant sound. The verdict's written on the waking ground. The blindfold lifts, the sword is raised, no shadow left, the price is paid. The verdict's written on the waking ground. Justice marches, justice marches. Renewal comes with the turning tide. And in the spring, there's nowhere left to hide.
Ooh, happy Monday. Hello, everyone. I have missed you all so much. I've got a members video I'm going to release today. I am so excited because you're going to see the behind the scenes of Phoenix Talks. You're going to get a little bit more insight to who I am, what I do. And if you have never been to my stream, welcome in. I'm Phoenix, your host at Phoenix Talks, and this community shows up for one reason, and everyone type what that reason is. Yes, to find the truth. Truth. Everybody should be typing truth. Woohoo! Hello, every single one of you beautiful people in my chat. I think at the beginning of every single stream, we have to do 2 or 3 things. 1, come in, hit the thumbs up. 2, type truth, and then drop a fireball if you are ready for some fireballs today, because I am coming at you with some massive truth and massive fireballs. Now, this may not be for everyone, because here we challenge the narratives that the mainstream media have sold us that we're just not buying. We're saving our cash for lipstick and Christmas and birthday cake. So I had to do it, guys. I just had to. We demand clarity. We are looking at this case still, which I believe we're going to be looking at this case for a very long time. And we're never going to stop asking questions till we get that truth. So if that sounds like you, thank you for being part of this amazing mission. If you've not been here to a stream before, type new person or just new, so I know what to expect, because boy, we are getting into it today like never before. Now, these are some things that may be a little taboo to some, but there have been signs and symbols throughout this whole case. If you have not been paying attention, we are going to blow it wide open for you to see what I'm talking about. I'm going to blow your minds. Don't get dirty, guys. All right, as you can tell, I'm excited and ready to go today. It is Monday. It is Mod Monday. So if you want to send a donation to my mods do get paid. I don't keep it all, guys. And you would probably be a little surprised at how much generous I am. And you know what? It's okay to be generous because whatever you give usually comes back in tenfold, right? You could say 100-fold. You could say whatever you want. I believe in the power of manifesting and I believe in the power of giving what we have to others. Because here, remember, we look at this Idaho 4 case, gotcha. We don't judge. And here we are, us. And it is Tuesday. Sorry, y'all. See, I haven't been with you for a while. So here we are. It's Tuesday. I was out of town. I was spending some time with family, and it was just absolutely unbelievable. And my Amanda, you are so amazing. Thank you for reminding me. It is Tuesday, the 10th of March. Woo, just 10 days away from my birthday. And if your birthday's in March, drop it below. You don't have to tell us the year. Just say my birthday's this month. I have a birthday month. I'm going to welcome you all in. Will I ask you a quick question? We always do this in the beginning of many lives, which I absolutely love it. I have a birthday month question for you, whether it's your birthday or not. All right, here we go. I hope you're ready. If your birth month was a movie genre, what would it be? Action, comedy, mystery, romance, documentary. Which one would be if your birthday month was March? Which would it be? Action, comedy, mystery, romance, documentary. Let's see who gets close to my answer. Nora, welcome in. Donna, Rosa, hello, hello. No talkie before coffee. Got my coffee with a shot of heavy whipped cream, and I've got a little bit of caramel and a little tiny bit of brown sugar just so I could take the edge off here this morning. Brenda, welcome in. Cat's Girl, welcome in. Dina, Inked Mama, Patty's OGs are in the house. Good afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you're tuning in from. And my mods are here. Hello, Rebecca. Hello, Les. Good to see you, girlfriend. Good to see Samantha. Welcome in. Hello. Hello, hello, Wicca Wicca. Donna Rosa, look at that fireball drop. Woohoo, Lulu Bell in the house. Lulu Bell won the gift card from last month. Woo, nice. All right. Is she here? You know you're going to make a video later. Yeah, share it all, not bits and pieces. And thanks for sending people my way. I appreciate it. I love it when they say, oh my God, I didn't know all this. All right. Deb, welcome in today. Hello, hello. I have to turn that notification off in a minute. Lola Garcia in the house. Hello, girlfriend. Love and Other Habits. Welcome in. Welcome in, Old Man Suds. Like it. All right, comedy. All right. You say yours would be a documentary. Mine would be comedy, documentary, action, reality. Can we still do Mod Tuesday? Sure, we'll do Mod Tuesday since I wasn't here yesterday. How about that? Any donation goes to the mods today. Horror. Lulu Bell, did I give you that as an option? Horror. Tip your Tuesday host. No, baby, I'll share. Documentary, mystery, thriller. Yes, Les, I don't know how you do it. Mine would be a mystery thriller. We didn't have Mod Monday. Yes, Mod Tuesday. Absolutely. 331. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. All right. Hello, Veronica. Welcome in. I love it. Here we go. Rom-com, says Peony. Oh, I'm so glad to see you. I missed you guys yesterday so much. So here we are. We don't judge. Us in the nest, all you golden nesters. My movie would definitely not be boring. I'll tell you, mine wouldn't either. I guarantee you, a psychological thriller horror. Wicca Wicca. Oh, I love it. I love it. You guys just make me laugh. I'm so glad to be back. We're talking about the Idaho 4. We're just trying to look at factual things in this case, and there's a few that kind of catch my eye. Yours would be a training video, Love and Other Habits. Me too. I read thriller books constantly. Who loves a good thriller? A thriller, comedy, action, documentary. I mean, who wouldn't love it, right? A little murder mystery, a little suspense. It is Tip Your Mods Monday. I love it. Amanda, you rock. I love it. All right, so let's get into it. Are you guys ready? If you are ready to get into what I have for you, has anyone ever thought about the signs and symbols in the Idaho 4 case? Has anybody thought why is this so important? See, because signs and speculations don't just become clues to a conspiracy. There's a huge difference between evidence and interpretation. There's a lot of different online communities that analyze cases. There are visual details that, obviously attract people to go and look at. And there's investigators that validate real clues. And then there's the whole psychology of the mystery behind it. Well, we're looking at the bottom line, signs and symbols, but you know what? Real forensic evidence, human behavior interpretation, and psychological pattern. Now, we're no experts. There is a banner here that is clearly stating, I am no expert. Neither is anybody here unless they specify, hey, I'm an expert. I could really share some insight to what you're talking about today. Perfect. These signs and symbols, I would say the sign with Maddie and Kaylee, if you guys have not seen the picture before, I am going to show you, hold on a minute. I'm going to show you a video that I just did because a lot of people had no idea what I was talking about. See, because there's only so much that our brain can remember and contain, because something that I've seen maybe might not be something you've seen. And this is the interesting part about this video. Let's watch it.
Are in witness protection now. I'm sure we will never know. It is so odd that you would say this at this moment right now, because does anybody remember this picture? We have Maddie and Kaylee right here showing something very important, which has never made sense to me in this Idaho 4 case. Now, the narrative we were sold is that they were in Idaho, they were college students, they were unalived in an off campus house. But yet, why did these two both in a vehicle at a gas station showing their Washington driver's license? I'll pause. I'll wait for an answer for that one. Because look at the picture of Kaylee and look at the picture that I have blown up and zoomed in on her ID. Now, why is none of this making sense? The narrative that we've been sold. This doesn't even really look like Kaylee unless she has been using a ton of filters on her videos. I would say all of the videos that have been shared, because this does not look, in my humble opinion, like the Kaylee that they have been telling us about. So when you see this and you see other things and you say this statement, it makes me think, are they, in fact, in witness protection? You know, the taboo thing we're not supposed to be talking about in this case. Is this even possible? I mean, you can go in and look at Maddie's, but I'll share the picture at the end like I always do. It was on a video that someone shared in memorial of them. Like most things that don't make sense in this case, this is yet just another picture, another question that brings up more questions about who was Kaylee Gonzalez. Who was she? Who was Maddie Mogen? Who was the real Brian Koberger? These are questions that I ask and answer over on the YT, and some things we can never answer, we speculate, but we do look at the facts and the evidence. And the only reason my community is amazing is because we search and we're on a mission for the truth in the Idaho 4 case. If in fact these 4 students were unalived on November 13th, 2022, or even on the 12th, they deserve justice. Brian Koberger deserves justice if he is truly factually innocent per the DNA, per the court documents, per even exculpatory evidence that I humbly believe Bethany Funk has, knows, has knowledge of, and many others. What are your thoughts? Drop them below. Again, I'm going to tag a few creators. Have you talked about this yet? I know I have, but I wanted to bring it up with this question or this statement that was commented. Be well.
Well, there you go. Has anybody ever seen this picture before? It was on social media, and it was a memorial, and I couldn't, yeah, look at those fingers. I just couldn't wrap my head around. Now we know for a fact, okay? Let's just remove all the doubts. Let's remove all the doubts. We know for a fact that, Idaho borders Washington. That's a no brainer. If you don't know where Pullman is, according to Moscow, it's not too far. They're 10 minutes apart. Families often live in one state and work in another, shop and socialize in another. I've lived on the border of Idaho, and I would go into Washington and do a lot of shopping at thrift stores, at grocery stores, gas stations. I mean, it was very common. Okay. So, Washington ID, it could probably be completely normal. Students cross commonly state lines, but why would you need an ID? Why? Well, if I blew it up. Let me grab the bigger picture of this ID, and I will show you exactly the the ID. So I didn't see it. It kind of, I could ask ChatGPT to tell me what it says, but it doesn't even look like Maddie either. That picture doesn't even look like Maddie. But here's the whole point to this. It is a Washington driver's license. It clearly says Washington. Let me see if I can actually pull a picture of it here.
They are in witness protection. That was commented.
Okay. This says Kaylee Jade Gonzalez. It says it on there. It says, I can't even read most of this. Washington driver's license. This thing is really like hard to read. So hard to read. Expires 2026. And it gives all the other things. And it looks like, God, I can't even read this. Maybe let me see if I can put this in ChatGPT. Now, I do not know if it will take this. Let me grab something real quick. Let me see if I can grab this again. And let me see if I can upload it into ChatGPT and see what it gives me. And if this is your first time being on a live, we can do a live dig in the middle of these. None of my streams are scripted, not one of them. Okay. And sometimes we'll go on field trips. We'll go do some live digs. We'll do whatever it takes, because of the fact that we are asking questions. Is this a real ID? I don't know. Why would they have it? Because typically what came to my mind is that if you're attending a college and you have to be a member of that state to get in-state tuition, they are fake. Christy told us all about it on Facebook. Wow. So now we're hearing the story they're fake. Why would they need fake IDs? Why would they need fake IDs? Are these fakes? I don't know. Were they going to bars? Did they need to drink? Why would they need fake IDs? Think about it. Why would they need a fake ID if these are truly fake? And these pictures on these IDs, they don't even look like them. Was it one of those jokes, or they get it out of a Cracker Jack box, or did they go to someone and say, hey, we want a fake ID? What in the world? And then they posted it on social media, like everything's on social media is fake. Phew, excuse me. Wow. Okay, here is the image file that I got. I got a really good, still, clear picture right there. You can blow it up if you want. And let me see if I can actually take a look at this real quick. And let's see if Chat GPT says that it's real or fake. I'm curious. Is this a real or fake ID driver's license? Let's see what it gives me. Is this a real or fake driver's license? It's probably going to tell me it has no idea. I have that feeling. So why would Miss G say that they are fake? Why would they say they're fake? Okay, it says I can't determine authenticity from an image alone. A photo can be edited, staged, or showed a novelty prop card, and many security features aren't visible at this resolution. Let me see if I can see if they can replicate it. Yes. And obviously you can see the name. You can see given 1999, expires in 2026. It doesn't look like there's an address on it. Yeah. And it also doesn't say where they're... Huh, that's interesting. Is it a fake? Well, let me grab a real Washington ID. Real Washington. Do me a favor. Who here is from Washington and can tell me if this is real or fake? Is it real or is it fake? Here is a sample. Okay. So it has Washington, USA, Washington driver's license example. I'm looking on their website. Make sure that you're compliant. All right. Department, State of Washington ID, real ID card. Let me see if they got a sample on their website. All right. Let's look at this. Here we go. All right. Let's see if we can find a sample card. Standard driver's licenses. Let's see if there's a sample. Let's just see about this. Sample. Oh, those are plates. Let me see if I can find another one. Why don't they just have driver's license that don't have the seal? How can you prove it? Drivers learn about, well, it's not a real ID, obviously. Standard driver's licenses. All right, let's see if somebody's in Washington. I do believe, yep, exactly. So in the, I was going to say that next, in the drop of the Idaho 4, photo 4 drop, there is one sitting on Dylan's nightstand, dresser, something of that nature, I believe. Hold on, I'll pull it up. And her bedroom, they labeled 4, I believe, 4 or 5. Let me grab it. 1 redacted. 1 is under Kaylee. 2 is under Xana. 3 is Maddie. 4 is Okay, the spare. 5 and 6. 6 is hers. So I know there was one on the dresser. I believe they took a picture of it on the dresser or on the bed. I can't remember. Oh, here it is. Okay. Right here. W.A. Washington, federal limits apply. Okay, so here's the weird thing about this. Brenda Fay has a Washington license. So do you think that this is a fake? I would say probably Maddie and Kaylee's does look fake to me. That's just my opinion. A possible prank, another prank, possible. It's so hard to tell with AI. Brenda does earlier. Brenda, let me go back up and see what you said. There's a ton of Washington last 6 years. So 2020 when she was 19. Well, why in the heck would they need, according to Christy, yes, but she's probably in on the cover up. Well, when you go into WITSEC, they don't tell your family, guys. They don't. And it just makes sense she'd get out in front of this. It's possible. It looks like Washington, USA, federal driver's license, federal limits apply. Gosh, this is hard to tell. I mean, I wonder if I've got a sample right here. Here is an official sample. But it looks like depending on when it was issued, God, it looks real, guys. Federal limits apply. And the signature is at the bottom. There's a code at the bottom. There's a number at the bottom. There's a tree. This one has a red mark on it, so I don't know. That looks pretty much the same. There's no donor on this. Oh, yeah, there is. There is a donor on there. It's just you can't see it very well. And this one says date of birth, issued, your street address. Your street address. It says something place, something drive, Paradise Drive. What does that say? Something drive. Maybe it was her prior address. And then it says the zip code. It looks like something says 33 on that. And then female, height, weight. And at the bottom it says something else. That is very interesting. It's almost similar to this one at the top. And it has the white background. So, and this was in Dylan's room. Expires in 2026. She should have been issued it in 2020. Whoa. What was the most people don't like? Frat pranks. And not one of those very harmless general. Wow. Lucy is encyclopedia on ID4 and Stickergate. My geez. Oh, wow. Wow. Was it a prank? Is it AI? Were they fake? Why would the advertising, why would they even advertise if they had their real license? Did they move? Were they moving? I mean, Maddie's holding a credit card in her other hand. Like, why would they need to show their driver's license in a picture like this on social media? It gives out your address. It gives out your birth date. The picture doesn't look like anything. I mean, I'll blow it up for you. Look at that picture. Does that look like Kaylee? Does that look like Kaylee? It looks like a totally different person. Yeah, of course, that's what I was thinking. Remember, we're talking about what, guys? Signs and symbols. Look at that picture of Kaylee. Drop a 1 if you think it looks like Kaylee. Drop a 2 if you don't. I mean, let's take a moment, take a step back, deep breath. If you were this age again and you were going to school, in another state, let's just say hypothetically, and you wanted to go into another state, and I mean, they use the same names, right? Why would you use the same name on a fake ID? Now, let's just think of this logically. You wouldn't. If it was a real ID, you would use your real name. It's not a permit. It's not just a ID card. This is an actual driver's license card, guys. This is an actual driver's license card. Okay? I mean, look at her. Roots are grown out, blonde. I've gone all the way back to her younger years. She was brown haired up into, I would probably say, late high school. Check out the signature. Well, let me look at Maddie's too. Both different. I'll take a screenshot of Maddie's. Let me rotate it and I will grab it real quick. This is wild. Why would somebody need a fake license? Let me just import this. And they used their real names. I mean, typically when people get fake driver's license, don't they use fake names? I mean, allegedly, I would. Why would I want to give my name out if I'm going to get in trouble? Why would I do? Maddie's picture doesn't even look like her either. I mean, it's wild. Okay, here, I'm going to save this. I'm going to upload it for you so that you guys can see what I'm looking at. Hold on. This is freaking wild. Has anybody asked this question? Has anybody dug into this to ask what the heck? This is wild. Wow. Maddie's doesn't even look like her. I know it's a blurry picture. I'm going to try to go back in and get better pictures. But here's Maddie's. It is kind of blurry. Totally different signature. On Superbad, he used the word McLovin, old man's McLovin. Yeah, it does not make any sense. Look at the shirt Kaylee has on her license. It's the same shirt Maddie had on. No, two different shirts. What in the world? That's a black shirt. Maddie has on a different shirt. This has a collared. This one has an open low-cut shirt. So, yeah, this doesn't make any sense unless these were real. We're looking at signs and symbols, guys. But why would they be so, hey, look. Why would they do that on social media? Were they sending a message to someone? I mean, look at Dylan's on the bed that they took that were in, obviously, the release of the photos that they have scrubbed from the internet and took down. This looks like the same kind. And she has an Idaho. Why would someone need two driver's license? I thought one would be canceled and one would be invalid. Now, when I moved, they took my driver's license, right? Here's another one. When, or legal, and flip it in Idaho. Well, I mean, would they do it like just once or twice? It's on record, right? It would be on record, literally. It would be on record, guys. So when you go to get your driver's license, if you move or something of that nature, they usually confiscate your current driver's license, void it, and then give you a license in another state. But if they were in school in Idaho and they wanted the in-state tuition prices, right? Let's think about this. You would actually need an in-state driver's license. They usually check those things. I know. Do we know where Kaylee lived prior. Some of it's public. I don't think all of it is, so I don't want to, comment on that. Do we know? Some people do know, but that makes sense. If you're buying weed in another state, they're going to track your name and ID number is tagged based on your ID. If they got a fake ID for the purpose of buying alcohol and drinking, they have no reason to use a fake name. No, well, I guess it could go both ways. Was somebody making and selling these IDs? Why aren't they smiling in the photos? It's weird. And it doesn't even really look like Kaylee. This is my point. Another coded message being sent that their mission was completed. Oh, I don't know. Why is Kaylee's driver's looking like starts with a G? Do they sign their signatures with their last name? It looks like a K and then a G together. So it would be your first initial and your last name. That's what it looks like, the signature. And Maddie's looks a little different. It looks like she signed it M. Mogan or full Maddie Mogan. If you're a Washington resident, you can only get a gram certain per day. With a W license, you can max out their limit. Yeah, I don't know about that. And Kaylee is wearing blue, not black. Kaylee is wearing blue. We're talking about in the driver's license picture, she was wearing a black shirt. In this picture, yes, she's wearing a blue shirt. Absolutely. Timu ID. You can get an ounce a day in Washington as a non-resident. Okay. Yeah, but guys, why would they even need a fake ID if they have access to drugs? Why would you need, that doesn't make sense, this whole drug theory. If they had access to weed, pills, whatever you want, they wouldn't need a fake ID to go get freaking weed, people. They could get it from their whatever, their broker or whatever you call them. God, I don't even know. And remember this saying, okay? Thank you, Honest Cakes. I love some of these pictures. All right. It would be to get into the bars. Probably. It would have to be to get into the bars. The bars where? In Washington? Did they go to the bars in Washington? Were they hanging out in Washington? They cut my old license in half. Exactly. Because that's your signature. You can scribble if you want. Yeah, anybody can scribble it out. But let's just talk about this for 1 second, logically. You have to be able to see the holograms. You got to tilt it under light if you're getting into the bars. They feel the surface if you come into a bar, or some of those guys don't even care. As long as you're young, hot, and good looking, they're going to let you into the bar. They don't even care if you have a fake ID or not. I'm just being real here. We get really real. Okay? Let's just say it says it's a license. It doesn't say it's just ID. It says driver license, federal limits apply. To go out and party at the bars where they're probably not supposed to be at. That's what I would say at the end of the day. So what kind of bars were they going at in Washington that they weren't supposed to be at? Even if this was a fake ID, the guys aren't going to be checking out their freaking holograms on their car. No, if they're dressed up cute and even in a picture or a shirt like this, they're gonna let them in. They're gonna let them in. Come on, let's party, girls. Right? I screenshotted this and I cut out her boobs, but I'm just saying, if allegedly they were going out to Washington, because this is a Washington driver's license, we don't know if it's real or not. We don't. Right? Those two smile in every picture except for their. I smile in my license too. They tell you not to, but let's see. Ron says the weed in shops is 100% different than on the street. They have weed for cleaning house, relaxing. 100. Yeah, there's so many different types. It's not what your broker sells. I don't know what they're called, guys. I'm just saying, your whatever, your dealer. I don't. There's a slang word too. Why? Yeah. Why couldn't they use their Idaho ID? That is a great question, Smiling Smooth. Unless they were going to Washington, somewhere where they wouldn't let Idaho people or women of young college age in, would be my only assumption. And remember, we are speculating on this one, folks, because we're looking at the signs and we're looking at the symbols. The sign to me, I love the word broker. The sign to me right here is, why would they be showing their identification in a social media post when everyone knows not to do something like this? Don't tell me these girls are blonde and dumb. These girls are not. That's what somebody told me. Can you believe that BS that they're spewing out there? Can you believe this? It sounds like a rite of passage. Real ID was put on hold because of COVID shutdown. Yes, it was. The G's have a story for all the BS. Well, what's the story on this one? Anyone tied in with the G's that know the story behind this one? Because no two smart college marketing girls would put a picture up like that unless they were marketing, hey guys, come and look at my ID that I got in Washington, and maybe I could hook you up, allegedly. Is that maybe what's going on? Are they marketing? I mean, these girls were marketing gurus. Okay. When I say that, I mean smart. They were marketing Vandal Solutions. They were marketing to private companies. They were marketing getting paid on the side all over the freaking place. I mean, Kaylee had a lot of bank, baby. Yeah, for college girls, guys. And don't forget, they even subpoenaed cryptocurrency info. The ID pictures don't look the same. No, they don't look the same. The pictures look totally different of them. So why would they look so different? Kaylee was apparently true crime smart. Yes, Jiggle Wiggles, love your name. Aware of her surroundings, can't see of her doing that. Well, what if I told you, Phoenix Fireball guys? What if I told you? Maybe I shouldn't. What do you guys? You guys want to hear it? You want to hear a theory? Huh. I wonder. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just trying to make sense of something that I saw this past weekend, which I'm going to bring you tomorrow. If Kaylee was rolling in money, why did Grandma help her get a car? Well, I mean, if she had all that money and Grandma wanted to help, I wouldn't refuse help from Grandma. Would you, Deb? Would you say, Grandma, no, I don't need that. I don't need extra money. Well, if my grandma wanted to donate $1,000 to the car that I really wanted, I wouldn't tell her, no, Grandma, keep your money. Well, Grandma, let me think. You've been saving money for 20 years and you want to help me out with $1,000. Okay, I'll take it. I mean, honestly, come on. Would you deny $1,000 if you knew that your grandma had money or, was in a good position, retired? I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Both of their hair are straight, no curls. Yeah. I mean, some days I curl my hair, some days I don't. Some days I don't even comb my hair. I just throw it up. But if I know I'm going to take a picture, then I'm definitely going to, spruce it up some. Okay. Okay. Well, I see some good. I mean, great. I mean, I see some really good comments. You guys are spot on. I mean, think about your dealer. If you had saved money and you couldn't go to the bank. We don't know the situation that happened with Kaylee and her grandma. I'm just speculating. Let's say I go buy a new car and I'm only going to put $5,000 down, and I bring $5,000, and all of a sudden the dealer says, no, you got to put in another 1,000. Well, grandma's there and grandma has access and grandma puts it on her credit card. We know that by the documents. Okay. Okay, we know that, right? So then maybe Kaylee said, well, I got to go to the bank and I got to do this. And then we're going to have to drive back down here and it's going to take a couple hours. And grandma says, no, let's save us some time and I'll just give you $1,000. You can pay me back whenever. That stuff happens. Okay. Look, Ink Mama, my friend gave me $3,000 for my Jeep as a graduation gift when I graduated from my master's. Sometimes people give big gifts on big occasions. Yeah, I got married and you know, my family dropped a couple $1,000s on our honeymoon, which we never got to go to. We were supposed to go to Italy and COVID happened. Yeah, I got married in 2020. So when you start looking at it, it could be anything. So we always have to give the individual the benefit of the doubt. Okay. So let's just say, for the sake of this live, let's just speculate that grandma gave her $1,000 because it was going to be too much in hectic day and then come back the next day or try to make time. So let's just say that Kaylee took had $5,000. Grandma let her borrow it. Okay. So grandmas do that 100% of the time. But what if I told you I had a theory that Kaylee and Maddie were marketing geniuses and they were doing things that were borderline illegal to find out how many other people would follow in their footsteps? Like, hey, look at my Washington ID. We're going out. We're going to go party. We're going to go grab some local smoke or whatever you want to say. Right, Rolo? You don't have to go to your dealer. It's such different stuff. Some of us are speaking from experience. I hear you. You guys are amazing. I love my mods, man. I'll tell you, they make this stream happen. They make this stream happen. Y'all give them a lot of love today. Always give my grandkids money. Yeah, okay. All right. Nothing like what you're saying. Well, when you get older, and let's just say 20 years, and you're retired and you no longer have a mortgage or car payments and you've got a little bit of savings under your belt, it's nothing to drop a couple $1,000s, guys. It's nothing to do that. I told Adam everything. Okay, now we're on the same wavelength. I think maybe Steve and Christy did those accounts. Well, let's be careful with the accusations now. We can speculate that somebody else was in charge of those accounts. Dylan had a Washington license. Yeah, I showed you that. It's still up on my screen right here. And here is that picture of her bedroom, redacted photos. And this was in her room. She even had a Washington bank card and other Idaho. This is an Idaho credit union card. I know that for sure. It's ICCU. I've got the same one. And she had some other things. So were they doing something in Washington that they had a green light card too? A couple of other things alleged. I mean, was something going on in Washington? Yeah, baby, tip your mods today. There's almost 200 people. How many thumbs up? Anybody knows? Those cards look old. Yeah, but if they're old, then they've had to been being used for a long time. Right? That's a green light card. Sorry, it's not an ICCU. It's a green light. So when you look at it and you think about it, we're talking signs and symbols. And this is one that I could never put my finger on why they would have Washington driver's license if they lived in Idaho, attending Idaho schools and getting probably in-state tuition. Make that one make sense. Okay? So what were these girls doing in their marketing careers? Well, we can speculate, and I'm going to have some more on that tomorrow, but let's just leave it at that. And let's take a look at some symbols. Okay, I've got a song I'm going to play for you right now that you guys are going to love. Here we go.
All right, y'all, you know what time it is. Breaking it down with the signs and the symbols. Let's go. Woke up this morning, sun shining bright, saw a peace sign graffiti painted in the night. Stop sign on the corner, red and bold. A story in the city, waiting they'll be told. Hey, signs and the symbols everywhere I go. Yeah, it's the 80s flow. Signs and the symbols putting on a show. Yeah, watch the rhythm grow. Check the arrow pointing, which way proceed. The infinity loop shows a timeless creed. Smiley face button pinned up on my coat. A question mark dangling, keeping me afloat. What's next? Bye. Now let's talk about the patterns etching history's dust. Ancient signs and symbols, in them we still trust. From the hex of old magic to the cross held so high. Messages from ancestors reaching for the sky. These ancient street markets, no trivial affair. Timeless wisdom speaking if you listen to the air.
Okay, that gave me a minute to go run and grab some water and give my jaw a break. I'm telling you. You guys, some of you got it, some of you didn't. This hex hat we are going to talk about. All right, folks, here we get into these signs and these symbols. If you've ever wondered, you're going to find out right now. You know, some days I just can't with some people. Some days I just have to power through. Now, a lot of people are like, oh my God, that hex hat in the beginning. I looked at the transitioning of all the hats and all the symbols that Mr. G was wearing. And I thought to myself, this is a very interesting journey. This tells a very interesting story. And y'all just have to give it up for some love for my mods. I love them so much. They keep chat on spot. They keep the riff rafters out. They keep all the trolls out. And I'm just going to have to tell you, yeah, I wrote this song about signs and symbols, the hex. What does hex mean? Let's just look at the meaning of hex. What does the meaning of hex mean? What does the meaning of hex mean? Hex means to cast a spell or bewitch, a magic spell or a curse. All right, you guys? Signs and symbols, you got to look at the wording too. Cats Girl, you are amazing. It's for our mod squad. Yes, thank you. This is what community looks like, folks. Thank you. Thank you, Cats Girl. Okay, Cats Girls. All right, so think about it, folks. What does hex mean? A spell, witchcraft. It could also be occult meaning. And did you know it's a German word meaning witch? Hex, a witch. Pennsylvania Dutch hex signs used on barns. So it's usually historically used as meaning a curse or a spell cast. And I mean, some people do interpret it symbolically. Folklore about someone being hexed. In modern uses, if you look at it, the connection is witchcraft. And nowadays, I don't think it's accidental. I think this was intentional. Okay? Yeah, you can scroll out. Don't let the door hit you on the behind. We'll just help y'all shove you out the door ourselves. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, don't talk about the ritual, please. How can you not talk about this ritual looking at this hat? I put a hex on you. I put a spell on you. I put some type of witchcraft, shady stuff in front of you. Now, don't get me wrong, because when a major case like this draws a lot of attention, yes, people start looking for the hidden meanings and symbols and the clothing and the numbers and the logos and all those things. But if you think about it, apophenia is the human tendency to see patterns or hidden meanings in unrelated things. It's not a bad thing, guys. It's like logos or symbols on clothing, hand gestures, numbers or dates or colors or shapes. It's not coincidental. It's not. Hex is also a hexagon shape. There are 6 sides. It's kind of computing rather than symbolism. And that's what the hat has. It has honeycombs, snowflakes, crystal structures. I mean, it can be on almost anything in nature. Efficacy, balance, design. It's a mathematical structure. Okay. I believe, in my humble opinion, he is very aware. Hex, he executed. Y'all, Vampires Diaries, all these movies, Boogeyman in the middle of the night. Yes, but blessings are being paid forward. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not random. You guys have got to stop thinking random. A random thought on the Washington license. Look at the bank accounts they had in Moscow, which requires a state license. According to them, there were some banks. There were some banks in Washington. Remember the short video of Kaylee saying the FBI? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now we're on. This case has thousands of coincidences. I don't believe in a coincidence. I believe in mathematical terms for a reason, for a passion, and a purpose. Everything he wears is for a specific statement. Yeah, I agree, Ink Mama, Wicca Wicca. It took me 3 years to see this. It came to my mind just now. Absolutely. Okay, let me just preface this with a speculation. We watch, but we really don't see. We listen, but we really don't hear. What are we not hearing? What are we not seeing? That's what I wake up every day and I say, okay, what am I supposed to see? What am I supposed to hear? Let me see and let me hear this today. Let me see what I don't see yet. Now, I'm going to show you a video that's going to blow your mind. All right? Let's watch it together. I'm going to put this on big. Listen, I know how we feel about this person and the people involved, but put that to the side. And so in the beginning, our friend was wearing hex hats. This is the first time, literally, I saw him in the cross hat.
Steve, what was your reaction to the decision today that the gag order will be lifted, but the motions won't be unsealed? Not yet, anyway.
You know, we requested for basically Kaylee, what happened to Kaylee. So I know her sisters want to do a victim statement and address the exacts, some of the things that happened to her. And they basically wouldn't share any information with us on, what happened to her. So I'm pretty used to how ridiculous,
Okay, I wanted to stop it there for just a quick second. He says they wouldn't share any information. However, just last week in another interview he did, he basically said, I'm the one that got the leak footage. I'm the one that saw the Hyundai Elantra. I'm the one that did all this. I'm the one. You know, we're the ones that got the 1122 neighbor, or we're the one that got the neighbor's video. Okay. Remember, I promised you that video, and I've got that video for you. I searched and searched, and I did find it. Let me throw it up on the screen for you. Where is it? It is actually, let me see if it's this one. Get stuck. Here we go.
Cold calling recent numbers. She says a friend told her that Kaylee had been at the Corner Club bar around 1:07 a.m. and later texted a rideshare driver, whom Olivia managed to track down.
The rideshare driver said around 1:45, Kaylee had texted him requesting a ride from the Grub Truck, which is the local mac and cheese food truck, to take her back home to 1122 King, and she had with her another female.
Olivia then uncovered one of the most important leads in the case. The rideshare driver told her about a camera mounted on the Grub Truck.
So I was able to look it up and find Kaylee on the video, and I saw the girl that she was with was Maddie. So at that point I knew Kaylee and Maddie were together. They got into the car to go home together and alone.
The driver told her the exact time Kaylee and Maddie were dropped off at their house on King Road, 1:56 a.m., a timeline she says she confirmed before the police.
I immediately took it to the police officers. Here's her phone information. Here's the rideshare driver's name.
Olivia says Kaylee made a call to her boyfriend at 2:56 a.m., but he didn't answer. The Gonzalezes believe Kaylee fell asleep shortly after.
Well, we all know they were not asleep. All right. We all know they were not asleep. And then Olivia goes to say something else in addition to what I just showed you. So they were putting the pieces together even before. They may have had more information than any of the families at this time, even though they say they were not getting the information from the MPD. Says they weren't getting the information from MPD. So when you look at this case and you start looking at the signs and the symbols, yeah, she is totally different. Totally different. I don't know if they do. They might. I have no idea if they get paid for interviews. I'm not sure. But let's listen to finish what Steve was saying.
Not just a gag order, but sealing something that has nothing to do with the victims' rights. It's all about, hate to say it, but it is a lot to do with the media and people being put on cameras and not knowing what to say, or things coming out that they didn't mean to say, or just didn't have a good explanation of what was going on. So they wrap this seal thing around, trying to pretend like they're, trying to protect people and doing all that, but they gave out people's initials at the very beginning. So it's just a dog and pony show that we're supposed to pretend like, like there's top secret information inside these docs. It's pretty gross, and we're fed up with it, and we're glad that it's over. And we just, you only got one time to be able to be a victim's advocate and say what you need to say and to address, the courtroom and everyone in Idaho. And they're not gonna let us know exactly what happened. So it's just terrible. You're gonna go in there. We're gonna make statements, and we don't want to say anything inaccurate. We want to make sure everything we say is exactly truthful. And it's one of those times where they could bend the rules, but they don't.
I seem to recall there was some discussion that the judge was going to meet with families and tell you privately things that were going to be released in the gag order. Is that still a possibility, or is there no discussion of that?
There's no discussion of that. We just, Shannon just sent him an email and just said, are you really going to make my clients go through 3 different agencies to get this information that they want to see? Like, go through Freedom of Information Acts for the state of Idaho, for the county of Latah, and then, there's federal ones as well. There's even other states. So it's like they could make it happen, but clearly the willpower isn't there. I don't think they really want anyone talking to the media and questioning. Remember, these people said that it was a crime of passion, and it was targeted, and it was isolated event. All this language, and then they even said, "You're gonna have to trust us. You're just gonna have to wait and trust us." And now we've waited, and it's like, no. There was no connection whatsoever that we could establish. So how do you get isolated?
There was no connection ever established. Now, this man that we have seen go from hex to cross, he's portraying a role in our eyes, folks. He's portraying the grieving father from maybe it was witchcraft ritual. Now it's spiritual journey. The whole case has shifted. And now he's sitting there saying there was no connection. He got the information, but now he's 100% saying, no, it was Brian Koberger, and look at this and look at that. They sold him on a lie, on a premise. And now he's looking, in my humble opinion, speculation only, kind of like egg on the face. Now that he's been saying he's 100% guilty and I'm going to file a lawsuit, and now it's WSU's responsibility, and now that is probably going to fall apart. I have a prediction, in my humble opinion, and from my experience in court, civilly and criminally. I am not an attorney. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just saying my prediction, my speculation is that they are going to lose this WSU lawsuit. Now, when you think about the extreme from the hex hat, that yes, it probably has something to do with the cryptocurrency. Maybe it was a symbol he decided to wear on his hat to send a message. Hey, young kids, or whoever did this to my daughter, I know who you are, and I'm going to out you one way or another, and we're going to figure out how to do this. It might take some time, but we're going to figure out how to do this, since no one else wanted to out you, because now we know that there's all this DNA that was found at the crime scene. We all know that there was blood on the walls. We all know that all this other stuff has happened downstairs, not like, the premise and the narrative that they were all asleep upstairs quietly and they all passed in a quiet manner. When he gets up and says, no, Your Honor, if you guys remember, Steve got up and said, no, Your Honor, they were gagged. And you want to gag me the same way? Does anybody remember that document in the court file? He said in a closed hearing, my daughter was gagged, right? Bound and gagged. And now you're going to try to gag me the same way. Okay, so when you start looking at the symbolism, now all of a sudden it's switched from a curse or even cryptocurrency to faith, hope, charity. You start looking at the cross sign, you start looking at his faith, you start looking at other things, and it seems like this case has turned all around into some spiritual, I don't know, revenge, vendetta, outing, I don't know what you want to call it. But what is your thoughts in regards to the hex to the cross hat? Remember, he was the face of Idaho for a very long time, even though there was a gag order and he was up on the screen, up on the Zoom, up all over the place on social media, delivered online news agencies globally. He was the face of the Idaho 4. How has it gone from hex, from a curse, to now the cross and saving and spiritual. What are your thoughts about this? Are you seeing the signs and the symbols? Let's just talk about that for a minute. Usually the cross appears to be a Christian cross. Faith in Jesus Christ, sacrifice, redemption, hope and salvation, and spiritual identity. And yes, we're in Lent, we're in the holy of holies right now, in the middle of all this religion, this war that's going on. We're in the middle of the Secretary of War that has roots right there in this community. They're talking about all these different things in these sign and symbols right in front of us. Usually people who wear a cross are like priests or people that are religious. It's an identity marker. It could be a fashion element. It could be a symbol of comfort or protection. It doesn't automatically imply anything religious or cultural expression, guys. Okay? But typically it expresses a faith, right? And he's not the only one. Guys, he's not the only one that wears symbolic hats. And I'm not saying that they are X, Y, and Z. I'm just calling these, for this live stream, symbolic hats. Okay? We've seen others in this case wear a symbolic hat. I've seen, Junior wearing the cross hat. I don't know if anybody else has seen him. I have. I've seen plenty of pictures of him online wearing these hats. Matter of fact, I think I have one right here. Let me check. And it's nothing new. Steve Jr. has been wearing hats for a long time. Let me just grab it real quick. We've seen him wear, hats with his wife, I believe. It's his wife now, who was a former, I don't know if she still is doing any true crime YouTuber, TikToker. There's Junior, right? So, there are plenty of signs and symbols in the Idaho 4 case. They're very common. They're used by millions of people worldwide. They generally do not indicate any hidden meaning. I think when we see the cross, I think everybody among probably our whole, I would only think all cultures would know that it has some symbolic meaning and ties to, Christ or religion, church, something of that nature. So when you start seeing these, hex symbols and cross symbols, well, we do know that obviously the cryptocurrency was given a search warrant. There were subpoenas for Koberger's crypto history, right? There's no verified documents that showed there was a connection, but they did ask for those warrants. Not just that, bottom line is the investigators were looking for digital evidence, phone data, online accounts, purchases, but there is no verified evidence that hex, cryptocurrency, or crypto transactions played a role in the Idaho 4 case that we know of. There's been given no background, nothing in the court documents related to what the warrants, what the subpoenas actually entailed. What were the conclusions? And gotcha moment. That is a gotcha moment. Do you remember what Steve J.R., I call him Steve J.R., Jr., his speech at the sentencing hearing in the Idaho 4? Does anybody remember? I'm going to pull it up for you real quick. He was on the steps. He gave a speech. I've played this speech before, which is very interesting. He does have a IMDb. Yes, he does. You can go and research that yourselves. I always encourage every single listener to research every single thing possible for yourself. Always. I have built my channel on massive integrity, and it will stay that way. Okay? If I make a mistake, I'm quick to correct myself. If I misspeak, I quickly fix the problem. If somebody brings something to my attention respectfully, I'll fix it. But sometimes I make mistakes too. I'm not perfect. But let's watch exactly what Steve Jr. was saying. I might have to fast forward on this. This was not.
He gave the knife up, or he gave a part of his kill kit. He gave out facts
This
that
was
only.
not what I expected Steve Jr. to say at all. Not one bit. Let me fast forward it a little bit. I was not expecting this, and he said it would have been inappropriate to say this in the courtroom because that's not what a victim's impact statement is. Let me just tee it up.
We've been waiting a long time to say some of those things that needed to be said.
Stephen Jr., you chose not to
I've written up a statement. I don't know. Well, allow me a sec. Yeah, definitely wasn't. Yeah, my name's Steve Gonzalez. I'm Keely's older brother. She was my little sister, my friend, the middle child in the heart of our family. There are no words that can fully describe her spirit. But if you knew her, who made everything better just by being in the room. My statement was largely grounded in one goal, and that was to do everything for anyone who listens to this and has to go through something similar to not have to endure what we had. My family's fought tirelessly, not just for answers, but for accountability. We've stood in front of cameras, behind closed doors, and across from people who didn't want us to speak, but we did, and we won't stop now. Across nearly every case prosecuted by Bill Thompson, including the killing of University of Idaho football player Eric McMillan, there's a clear and troubling pattern. Families are left feeling unheard, justice is negotiated down through plea deals, and the public is left with unanswered questions. In the McMillan case, charges were reduced from first-degree to second-degree murder, prompting confusion and outrage from the victim's family and community. The same pattern is emerged in the Silas Parks and John Lee cases, both of which prosecuted by Bill Thompson. Multiple crimes were resolved through plea agreements, sidestepping trials and diminishing public accountability. The most egregious of these crimes was the brutal killing of Whitney Parks, a young pregnant woman whose life was taken by her husband Silas Parks during a violent domestic assault. Whitney was only 22 years old. Whitney was beaten and strangled in her own home, an act of cruelty that not only ended her life, but also the life of her unborn child. And yet, despite the devastating nature of this crime, Bill Thompson reduced the charges from murder to voluntary manslaughter, ultimately securing a sentence that allowed Parks the possibility of parole after just 5 years. There was no trial, no full accounting of what Whitney endured, no acknowledgement in the legal outcomes of the child she was carrying. For Whitney's family, for anyone who believes that justice system should speak forcefully for victims, this wasn't justice. It was a deal, and it was like so many others under Thompson's watch. It prioritized expedience over accountability. Now, almost predictably, we find ourselves reliving the current. Despite the magnitude and brutality of the crime, the prosecution chose to accept a plea deal behind closed doors, without trial, without ever consulting our family in any meaningful way. In fact, we learned from the plea deal that had been finalized from an email from the prosecution team. Not in person, not with warning, not with respect. That moment underscored what we feared all along, and that this case was following the same well-worn path toward expedience over justice. Sentencing once again fails to reflect the severe fallout has landed again on the shoulders of the victims' families, who have been left out, unheard, and grieving not just a horrific loss, but a system that continues to bypass them. The through line is undeniable. Whether it's 2004 or 2025, this prosecutional, is that a word? Sorry. Prosecutional approach has consistently abandoned the very approach it is, or the very people it is supposed to protect. The trend you'll notice from Thompson's prosecuted crimes: capital punishment, charge reductions, sentences that misalign with the gravity of the crime, lack of trial due to plea bargains. These aren't just failures in process, they're failures that have real consequences for real people. After reviewing Bill Thompson's history, it's clear our family was never given a fair chance at justice. But this isn't just about a prosecutor's record. It's about Kaylee. It's about my sister. She's not just one of the Idaho 4. She was a daughter, a sister, a best friend, and the light in every room she walked into. When the prosecution followed the same path we've seen before, closed doors, limited input, and a plea deal handed down without our voice, it became painfully clear that Kaylee was being treated just like another case. But she wasn't. She was everything to us, and our pain has only deepened, knowing that the system didn't fight for her the way she deserved. I'll leave everyone with this. There's 1,000 things I wish I could say to Kaylee, but today I'll just say this. I will always carry her with me for the rest of my life, and I will never stop being her.
All right, we heard from Steve Jr. That was something amazing for him to say. But when he read that speech, my first thought was, who wrote that speech? I know that when I write something and I read it, there is so much more emotion to it. I mean, I know a lot of you that have had to write articles, and I know a lot of you are in the middle of some college coursework, and a lot of us put a lot of time into writing. And when I heard him say a word, he wasn't too sure, and he looked over to the that would be the left of him and asked, is that even a word? It was kind of like, did he write this? I mean, you can tell the difference when someone speaks from what they've written, and then you can tell from someone who just reads someone. And my original thought was, who wrote this? Who wrote this? Because there was a lot of details that I don't think, in my humble opinion, Steve Jr. would be looking at. I thought maybe if anybody had written this, allegedly, speculative, Olivia maybe have written this. Okay? And I know his mom was around and everyone else was there. There were several cases he brought up in regards to Bill Thompson's track record as a prosecutor in Latah County. So that made me go back and start looking at a lot of cases in Latah County that Bill Thompson, Mr. Thompson, has taken on in his 30 years. That's a whole nother stream, folks. But this was a picture that I had seen online. And obviously, Steve Jr. has been wearing hats, which most boys and most country boys, I would say, wear hats. It is a symbol, it is a sign. And it is probably something in generational, in my humble opinion, when you see these signs and you see them wearing similar hats, similar signs, and similar symbols. Signs would be these Washington fake or not fake IDs, and what was the whole premise behind sharing an ID publicly on social media, to publicly sharing symbols throughout this journey. This wasn't the first time that I questioned, what are these signs and these symbols in this case? What are they trying to push forward at us? Now, I decided last night, every stream, I'm going to pick one or two comments to pull out some more information. And KS Jensen Art says, I believe Steve Jr. was the man walking Murphy that morning around 9 to 10 a.m. You showed Phoenix. Well, I didn't even think that until you said something, because I searched everywhere, every public database for any type of hat that this individual would be wearing. So what exactly is this comment, what does it mean? KS Jensen Art wrote. So last week on a live, I had been looking at videos based on my research on a document, and Lyndon Beck, he had a interview done with Moscow Police Department. And in that interview, he said something about 9 or 10 a.m. call. And I thought, why did they get a call that early? And then they didn't call for almost 2 hours. So I went back. In addition to that, Steve had said something that they had seen the car and drive off and speed away, and Koberger came back to the scene of the crime the next morning. And I thought, why would someone go back to the scene of the crime? And so I went searching for these time frames, and lo and behold, on Jules' channel, she does have all the videos up. So I went back and I researched it, and I'm going to pull that video back up. We're going to watch it together, and I want you guys to participate and let me know if KS Jensen Art comment up on the screen seems like maybe she's onto something. So let's watch it real quick. We'll watch just the part that I shared with you, and we'll see. I can't really blow it up. We'll see if perhaps that this guy looks like Steve Jr. allegedly. Right side of the screen, right at the last pumpkin, there is someone standing here smoking. Now, I don't know if Steve Jr. smokes. I have no idea. You guys can drop your comments while we're watching. And yes, this was the reason why I hesitated. And I always thought that maybe Steve Jr. was present because he was going allegedly to school there. And so you can interchange Steve Jr. with Steve Sr. Don't know if he smokes or not. Just saying, you have a very good point. It could possibly. The hat, in my humble opinion, is green. I took a screenshot, and it's not the best in the world, but it looks like I thought maybe it was a Seattle Seahawks hat. It's a green hat, and I'll stop this video that you see of the individual right here. Don't know if you can see my cursor. Right here smoking. He's kind of got almost the same build as Steve Jr. It was said, it was rumored allegedly that he did go to school there. I don't know if it's true, but it was a rumor. And, you know, to get clarification, I'd have to really hone down and get some information. I don't think the school will give us so much. Look at the mannerisms. Now, I've got a still shot. Let me stop this. And it's great. We can speculate all we want. There is the individual that looks like maybe, I don't know. Let's go on a little field trip. Let me just take this out. Let me see if we could see any images of Junior. Junior's a hat guy, guys. And let's do this. Let's just see what we could find. Let's see what we can find. Here's, let me see, hold on. There's hats. He wears hats quite often. Hat. It looks like this guy's got maybe a hat on that looks like maybe a state on the front. Let's see if we can find any juniors with hats. Kind of built. See if we can find any more. I know I found one the other day that was interesting. Is that one still? Let me see. All right, I'm going to do something that you guys are going to be like, whoa. I'm going to go to Google now. And let's look at images. Okay. It's a different one. Something, I don't know what this one says. Let's take a look at this. Boise, Raiders, hats everywhere, symbols, hats, Boise, let's war. Interesting. Raiders. Hats. Interesting choice. What does that say? Something Hall of Fame? All right. All right, we just went down that field trip line. Let me go back to Google and see if there's any other pictures with hats. There's one, but I don't know what hat it is. There's not very many, but there are some. I mean, this guy looks like possible in the picture. It looks like a green hat, and maybe it's got Idaho, maybe something. I don't know. It looks like, yeah. Rollo, be nice. Let's be nice, you guys. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see where he went to school. Let's see. All right. Here he is, University of Idaho. Well, it's no longer a rumor. It has been confirmed. Per his own statement, his own LinkedIn, he went to the University of Idaho. Was he in a frat? No, but he did get Bachelor of Engineering, BE in Science, August 2018 to May 23. And now he is a tax case specialist at Precision Tax in Coeur d'Alene. He worked tech support agent. He deals with the IRS and state agencies to resolve tax client liabilities. I think we talked about this before, but yeah, University of Idaho, Bachelor of Science. All right, you guys, there's the answer for that. All right. Now, I heard that it was Lindenbeck. Don't know. Now, the other comment that I highlighted was this one during our stream. And every profile case, he saw the perp throw evidence in the Snake River, and the DOJ looks the other way. Well, in the video I showed you last week again of Bill Thompson in court saying they have no factual evidence, they can't put him at the time. There is no stalking, no connection to the victims. And yet, Rollo, you have a great point. Now, even my own son at the age of 16 loved to go magnet fishing. So if he said he had proof, or every profile case Santa has said the perp through the evidence in the Snake River, then maybe I'm not going to say millions. I think many should go and start magnet fishing that Snake River. Could you imagine all the weapons, all the metal, all the recovery, all the evidence that they can get out of the Snake River? Don't you think that they would be magnet fishing the hell out of the Snake River? Come on, Bill. You are retiring soon, so maybe allegedly you can go magnet fishing and find all these weapons in your spare time. I mean, wouldn't somebody just love to send him a big, huge magnet with a fishing pole to say, enjoy early retirement? In my humble opinion, wouldn't that be the best retirement gift ever? Let's go fishing in the Snake River, dude. I'm just saying. You guys had the best comments the whole stream. Message me, send me an email at Phoenix Investigates at proton.me. You both have got a $5 gift card to Starbucks. Have a cup of coffee on me for your amazing flipping comments. You guys are freaking amazing individuals. All of you are amazing. Let's go, go, go. Tell me if you want to see something. Remember, let's remember this. We don't judge, but here we are. I just love you guys in the nest. I absolutely love it. So, what I want to do next stream is something pretty crazy. So make sure you're coming back tomorrow at 11:11. That is 11:11 with pure intention. We're going to have another birthday cake. We're going to have another surprise. I'm going to have something so amazing for you. I hope that you do join us again. As always, all my mods, any donation that you would love to send, they get 100% of. Please make sure that you guys drop a lot of love. If you have a request, let me know. Again, you've never heard of magnet fishing? Oh my gosh. Before we go, I just have to show you something so wild. Dude, these are amazing. If you guys have never seen magnet fishing, you need to check it out. These are magnets like you wouldn't believe. These are like heavy duty magnets. Type in, go Google for yourself, magnet fishing. I'm just picking some random YouTube video right now to show you. If you've never been magnet fishing, it is amazing. So whoever this guy is, congratulations. You just got shown on my stream. Here we go. Uncle Ian, Callum, whatever they're doing, they're magnet fishing. Here it is.
It's World War II, Wendell, and today we're going to do a little tutorial, like a beginner's guide to magnet fishing. So we've come to, where are we, Uncle Ian?
At the rear end of the GCR.
I'm going to speed it up real quick.
And we've walked along, we've spotted a nice bridge, which I think is going to be a very decent place to pull something out.
Right, we're going to get magnets out and we'll start filming this. So first off, we're going to show you how to put a basic knot on your magnet. So here's a real good quality magnet.
Not magnet.
So,
these things are strong.
Well, in the middle of nowhere, there's no point at all magnet fishing. You're not going to find anything. Places you want, bridges, heavily populated areas. It sounds like the more common the area, the better you find it's going to be, because people tend to chuck stuff in the river. It's like here, today we've come to this bridge. This bridge was built in 1900.
Let's see if they find
right
anything over this bridge, because people throw stuff over the bridge. Cell phones, all kinds of stuff. Look at this.
What is it? Looks like a scaffold pole. That. Obviously, bridges over the years have repairs done, so scaffolding has to go across. If they lose a bit of scaffolding, they tend to leave it in the river or canal. They don't fish it out. It's one of the things you find most. Yeah, more bits of bridge.
They find screws
nice
and nails and...
We'll film a couple more throws. Then we'll discuss magnets, I think.
Anything that's metal that will stick to a magnet, they find.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a scaffold bar in it, that is.
Bows, the arrows. Can you believe this?
Look fairly modern to me.
Tools. Look how big that was that magnet grabbed it. If you've never heard of magnet fishing, you guys are missing out. Rings, jewelry. It's almost as good as combing the beach and finding phones that were left in the sand, rings, watches. Look at this he pulled up. A big, huge... a big, huge freaking pipe.
Well, you will say it's a cannon, but it's not, is it? It's
crazy. They pick up anything except for fishes. Yes, they do. It's incredible to watch what they pull up sometimes. Just incredible. Somebody pulled up a propeller one time, a sign. Look at how big those signs are too. That magnet's strong. You want a good magnet.
We're having some major camera issues. So the last
You want a really good
when they
magnet.
refurbished the railways during the Second World War, the outbreak of the Second World War.
Okay, so that is
they are still going
magnet
today,
fishing. So I just picked a random video to show you, but yeah, my son loves it. Find all kinds of pretty cool stuff. So y'all be well. Enjoy your day. I'll see you tomorrow. Give my mod some love. Shout out to everybody who showed up for us today in this community. Why? Because we look for truth. And if you are one of those individuals, you definitely want to be here for us finding the truth. And you know what I want to say real quick? There's no shortcuts. There's no blind trust. Thank you for being part of Phoenix Talk. Stay curious and stay grounded, and be well.
The file was cold, the leads long dead. Winter's chill had settled in the bone. Another name unsaid, a silence statue blind and made of stone. But thawing ground gives way to sleeping roots. A whispered tip, a forgotten clue. Dusting off the long forgotten suits, a single thread to pull the story through. The spring equinox brings the scales to bear. Justice marches, truth takes to the air. From frozen silence, a triumphant sound. The verdict's written on the waking ground. The witness stand, a garden newly tilled. Each memory a seed now forced to grow.